Now, this is an absolutely huge story, and I have no idea how I didn't hear more about it until just recently. A former Colorado County clerk, Tina Peters, was sentenced to 9 years in prison for a voting data scheme. Jurors found Peters guilty in August for allowing a man to misuse a security card to access the Mesa County election system and for being deceptive about that person's identity. The man that this clerk let in, to a surprise of nobody, was affiliated with the MyPillow chief executive Mike Lindell, a prominent promoter of false claims that voting machines were manipulated to steal the election from President Trump. Peters' actions have cost the local government $1.4 million in legal fees and lost employee time. Peters was convicted of 3 counts of attempting to influence a public servant, 1 count of conspiracy to commit criminal impersonation, first-degree official misconduct, violation of duty, and failing to comply with the Secretary of State. At trial, prosecutors said Peters, a Republican, was seeking fame and became fixated on voting problems after becoming involved with those who had questioned the accuracy of the presidential election results. So Peters, a one-time hero to election deniers, was accused of using someone else's security badge to give an expert affiliated with MyPillow chief executive Mike Lindell access to the Mesa County election system and deceiving other officials about that person's identity. Even after they delivered a guilty verdict, she still pressed on about these lies. She still continued tweeting that Dominion's voting systems were all rigged and evil and whatnot. Today's verdict is a warning to others that they will face serious consequences if they attempt to illegally tamper with our voting processes or election systems. I want to be clear, our elections are safe and fair, he said in a statement. Okay, hold on, new theory. Maybe this lady here is playing like 8D chess? And she was actually doing all of this to test the security. She wanted to see just how secure and rigid and diligent the legal process really is when it comes to committing voter fraud. You know, it was one of those things like, I won't believe it unless I see it kind of thing. Defense lawyer said Peters had to preserve records to access the voting system to find out things like whether anyone from China or Canada had accessed the machine while ballots were being counted. That's your legal defense? Really? Okay. So the former Colorado clerk, Tina Peters, allowed a former surfer from California affiliated with Mike Lindell to observe the software update and make copies of the hard drive using Wood's security badge, Wood being the name of another person that actually had that jurisdiction there. If this were flipped, if it were the Democrats let some random surfer into the room when they were checking the voting machines, Tim Pool and every other conservative would be probably screeching until their lungs were just dead. When a conservative does it, she is a one-time hero to election deniers. And before we even get to her sentencing, we first have to watch last year when she was arrested in a public place and acted like a total Karen, mind you, because she was obstructing the investigation. So an entirely separate thing to what she was just sentenced for happened earlier. So a Mesa County jury on Friday, 2023, returned a split verdict against former county clerk Tina Peters, who was arrested on multiple obstruction charges in February 2022. They executed a warrant related to her iPad. She is suspected of improperly recording a court hearing for her deputy clerk. Jurors found Peters guilty of obstruction of government operations, but acquitted her on a charge of obstruction of a peace officer. The verdict on Friday, 2023, only applies to Tina Peters' obstruction case. She still faces felony criminal charges in a separate case related to her alleged involvement in a data security breach involving the county's election equipment. And I'm sorry, but that seems fair because based on what we know, she let some random person who was not at all authorized to walk away with a hard drive full of all the voter records. That includes personal information. So on February 8th, 2022, police approached Tina Peters in a bagel shop to execute the warrant related to her iPad.
You're not going to put a hand on anybody here. No, you do not.
Do you have the iPad? Okay.
Wait a minute, wait. Did I hear that correctly? Were they there to just simply search her and then she refused to comply? An arrest affidavit says that when officers tried to seize the iPad, people sitting at the table with her started passing around the tablet. I think that they were there simply to just execute a search warrant for her digital device. And instead, she freaked the f*** out already, acting like an entitled Karen, and is now already turning this into an arrest.
Do you have the iPad? Okay, where'd you put it?
You don't have to tell you anything.
To who? I'm not sure exactly.
I don't have to tell you anything. Lady, you kind of do. That's sort of what the warrant means. Kind of means you got to tell them some stuff.
Hey, Bob, let's keep saying Randy.
Okay,
No.
Randy, put your cup down and turn around. Ma'am?
Oh dear.
Let go of me. You let go of me. Let go of me. Do not resist. Let go of me. Let go of me. Do not resist.
I am really, really surprised. What happened? Lady, you're a conservative. Stop resisting.
Let go of me. Do not resist. Oh no. Let go of me. Go. It hurts. Let go of me. Give me my
Do not hit. Do you understand?
Stop it. No. Let go of me.
Okay, two things I'll say. One, before anybody says, I kind of feel bad for her. She said she's hurting though. She might be in pain. Every single motherfucker says this when they're getting arrested. It doesn't matter if they just went out there and like raped 5 people and murdered 7 people. When they get put in cuffs, they are gonna act like little babies. Mommy, ow, my wrist. Every single time. I watch a lot of these body cam videos. I find them to be very entertaining, to be honest. And almost every single time, people act like they're in like immense, great pain and oh, it's so horrible and all this stuff. I highly doubt that.
Yes, you are, Caleb. Give me my key to my car. Give me my key to my car. Give me my key to my car.
What? Why do you want the key to the car? Lady, shouldn't you be asking for the keys to the handcuffs first? Fast forward later on now to 2024, in which Tina Peters is now talking face to face with the judge. And she is given what is like 45 minutes or something by the judge to talk. Now, what do you think she did with this time given to her? Do you think that she spent this to instead say like, hey, I'm sorry, I've learned my lesson and you know what? I really messed up. No, you see, that would be the right thing to do. And as we've already seen, this Karen doesn't ever make the right decision. Instead, she decided to use her time to, one, once again, claim over and over again that the election was stolen and try continuously to go into irrelevant details about the election, and then bring up how her mom is sick and her dad died or something to garner sympathy points to beg the judge to please just give her probation. We already know that didn't go as planned, but let's see how some of this interaction goes.
Ballots go in, there's a second fraudulent database that's created, and it's all documented in here. There's an image taken of that ballot. then the ballot is changed. And we know it's been changed because it's lacking the .sha file, and it goes through adjudication differently, like it's a completely different ballot. This is what report number 3 is. So when you ask, were there any fraudulent votes, they haven't read it, they don't know. All right, I'm going to move along.
Votes, ma'am.
Sorry?
I'm not going to let you
Okay,
go
that's
on
fine.
about things that are completely irrelevant to the sentence.
This is
No, it's not. I've let you go on enough about this, but the votes are the votes. You still didn't answer the question. If this is my ballot and I put it in the machine, whatever it tabulates is whatever it tabulates.
No, it doesn't. It changes.
You're not letting me finish.
Okay,
whatever
please.
it tabulates is whatever it tabulates. My hand vote, my ballot remains the same. They counted those ballots. Did they
understand.
not?
I understand what you're saying,
Did
Your
they
Honor.
count the ballots?
No, the ballot images were changed, and that's what the total shows.
I'm going to tell you this right now, okay? Take everything I say with a grain of salt. I am no lawyer, mind you. However, if you have the judge arguing with you, like straight up debating you, and then face palming, you're probably not doing so good for your case.
Okay, I'll move off of this because I can see that I would encourage to read the report number 3.
I've read them, ma'am.
You've read all of them?
I've read those reports. They were given to me at some.
Dude, can anybody else like see this guy's face? He looks so vicious there. Yikes. He hates her.
I would encourage to read the report number 3.
I've read them, ma'am.
You've read all of them?
I've read those reports. They were given to me at some point, I believe.
Good, good. Well, so you know what I'm saying is true. All right, let me move on. It's not funny. My life is on the line here, Your Honor.
No, you're the one who's making this allegation that one,
It's
I think
not
it's
an
funny, and
allegation.
2, that I know it's true. You're saying that as if I believe you, and I did not say that.
Oh,
That is
man.
why I made the sound, because it's insulting to me for you to just put that in a record in front of all of these people that I believe something to be true.
Okay, and I apologize for that, Your Honor. That wasn't my intent. I do apologize.
Dude. Oh, man. Did she even have any legal counsel? Is she just like spitballing? Is she like, don't worry, I got this, okay? I'm great with improv. Ha, no worries, homie. I got this shit. Did she even like consult a lawyer? She was a district clerk. She was a district county clerk. Don't you know not to argue with the judge?
Apologize for that. It gets a little fiery when your life is on the line, and I apologize.
Aw.
But I told
Can we get a little tiny little violin, please, to play some sad sympathy music for her?
But I told the candidates they didn't have anything to fear because they had brand new machines that they'd taken out the bad ones, as the clerk alluded to. The truth does matter.
Why does it feel like okay, so how old is this lady? I think she's like 69. Nice. She's 69. Nice. So she's 69 years old. Is this just like an old person thing, like not moving off the subject? Everybody around you is visibly like, okay, we've all mentally moved on from this subject. 20 minutes ago, you're still f***ing on about it. This lady has basically been told straight up by the judge, you're bothering me. Shut the f*** up. Like, he pretty much just said that in a more professional way, and she's still just on about it.
You know, the fact that Joel Wood lied about his part in this is unforgivable. Cody Davis calling me a sacrificial lamb, and then what happened next, and we'll show that in just a moment. But you know, Matt Crane's wife has worked for the voting system for 2 decades. Did you know that? Not many people know that she's worked for Dominion for 2 decades. So when he gets, he gets...
Is this what happens to these people? These people whose brains have been turned to mush? You just stick them in front of any microphone. It doesn't matter it doesn't matter the context. It doesn't matter the situation. Okay, you could be at your mom's funeral. You could be in front of a judge and a jury. If you have a microphone, you're like, showtime. So everybody, let me tell you about the election fraud, all right? Let me tell you about how they're turning the frogs gay. Like, it's like, just stop. She just doesn't know how to stop.
defensive about the voting machines. There's a reason. All right, let's go on to, so they kept my iPad. Judge, I'm an honest person. I made a promise to conceal Conan's identity, yes, but I'm an honest person. And I have 50 letters here.
Oh my God. What a f***ing politician type answer right there.
These are 50 letters here from people that say I'm honest, plus the 5 that are in the pre-sentence investigation report. The first letter is from one of my doctors, Scott Rollins. Can you pull that up? Okay. I'll keep going while he pulls this up.
I have read the letter. I've read all of the letters.
Okay.
But yes, you can
Just-
certainly reference
Oh
it.
man, the poor Tina Peters. She's like, you really should read those reports though. And he's like, I did already read them. She keeps thinking she's bringing up like a big gotcha here. And then it's just shot down nearly immediately. Here's all these people saying I'm not. Yeah, we already saw that. Okay, I kind of thought that was going to be my bombshell here.
The first letter is from one of my doctors, Scott Rollins. I have health problems that would not be treatable in the Department of Corrections. First of all, I need a magnetic mattress. I've been on that since 1995. I was in 2 rear-end collisions in 84 and 2010. It was pretty severe. I was diagnosed with fibromyalgia. I don't know if you can zoom in a little bit.
I'm sorry, but unless this prison has memory foam mattresses with special remote controls that can move up and down and adjust for my back issues, then, Your Honor, I cannot go to jail, Your Honor. I just can't do it. Like, it's just very ick. Listen, I'm going to tell you guys this right now. What is a magnetic mattress? I don't even know. But tell you what, everybody, get a magnetic mattress right now. You're instantly immune from all prison time.
25. I was in 2 rear-end collisions in 84 and 2010. It was pretty severe. I was diagnosed with fibromyalgia. I don't know if you can zoom in a little bit. And chronic fatigue as a result. And I had to stop working for the airlines in 1995. I was up all night because I was in bed all day. I couldn't sleep. I couldn't control these symptoms until I got, believe it or not, a magnetic mattress of which I still sleep on.
This should be a whole new criminal investigation right now. Is she saying she's sleeping on the same f***ing mattress purchased in 1995?
And as a result, I get short of breath. So I can't do a lot of strenuous physical activity. Okay.
Okay, well, lucky for you, you'll probably just be chilling in a cell most of the day, so you're fine. What? What? Please, Your Honor, don't send me to the labor camps. What is she talking about?
My first attorneys asked me to take a polygraph as to why I created an image of the Mesa County server. And I said it was to preserve election records. And the polygraph showed that's true. Page 2, please. If you've never been through a polygraph, it's a pretty strenuous test. Keep going. I know it's in a
This doesn't matter. If anything, that's embarrassing for you. Okay? In this case, I would say it's probably better to be a grifter. It would probably be better to just be like, yeah, no, all these losers are just believing this bullshit and I'm just cashing in, you know? That would probably be better than being like, I took a lie detector test. That is how committed I am to this nonsense.
The government has accused me of profiting by them prosecuting me because they said I got free plane rides on Mike Lindell's plane and other bennies. But I reimbursed Mike Lindell for every plane ride I took on Mike Lindell's plane, and here's proof of it. And you can go down, show those.
Okay, like this, again, none of this really matters. The crime that was committed was you used your position to allow somebody that was not authorized to enter a restricted area, and then you were deceptive about it. Your Honor, I actually paid for my Starbucks. I didn't do it for the free Frappuccino, okay? Although I would have done it for the free Frappuccino, this time I was feeling generous, okay? Like, nobody gives a shit.
This is my wrist.
Bagels? Yeah.
Yes, Main Street Bagels. This is a picture of my left wrist, which happened when the officer who arrested me on February 8th, 2022, made the handcuffs too tight. And they also...
I'm calling cap. I'm calling cap right now. You know what that looks like to me? That looks like the sign of somebody wriggling around in it and getting caught and pinched in it or something. That's what that looks like.
To accuse me of kicking a cop, which I didn't do because when they put the cuffs on too tight, they pulled me sideways on my left wrist and my right leg came up. And I've done this with numerous people that to show them exactly how that's possible. And I'm going to just show you now. Did somebody think that was funny?
What?
Did you hear that back there?
Oh, no.
Okay.
But I don't
Somebody's
doubt
back there laughing because I'm. Okay.
I'll take your word for it.
Thank you.
And, I will admonish that, as I've done it before for everyone. But
Thank you.
I'm
I
just
appreciate
trying
that.
to get through this, so go ahead. In terms of
This is
everyone
me.
remaining calm.
Also, what the is this? Like, why is she went from Karen to suddenly like a school teacher? Who's laughing when I'm talking? Anything you're saying over there, you can say to the whole class. Your Honor, they were laughing at me. I can't go to jail.
It's another reason I would ask for probation, so I can be with my mom. She had a heart attack recently and has 3 aneurysms because the doctor says because of all the stress this is causing her.
She's had 3 aneurysms. She has 5 catheters right now all inside of her, and it's because of this, Your Honor. So please, I can't go to jail. My mom has a catheter. Just like, what is she saying?
Here's my dad and me. Oops. Who died the day I was in jail, in the Mesa County Jail in the sheriff's office here. I found out the next day I didn't get to be the one that said goodbye like the other people in my family.
Yeah, it turns out that you're not the only person who suffers when you commit a crime, honey. Welcome. We are literally witnessing in real time 70-year-old woman learns she's not the only f***ing human in the world.
The next day before court, where the prosecution asked for a $500,000 cash bond. I don't even know murderers and drug dealers like the one that the DA prosecuted that he gave probation.
Yeah, but you do know Mike Lindell. You do know a billionaire.
Influencing a public servant, is that really that bad that it deserves me to be incarcerated? This is my late son, Remington Jordan Peters.
Oh man, dude. It's just, there's just something so like, it instantly makes me think that this person must be guilty, or like, I don't know, it just makes me feel like doubtful about their character or something when I hear people like, is it really that bad to be deserving of this?
Walking off as he graduated as a Navy SEAL.
Wow. Okay. What is she waiting for? Applause? Okay, cool. You have a son. You have a dead son. That's sad. I'm very sorry to hear that. What does this have to do with you abusing your authority and your power? She has too many excuses. They're not even like excuses. They're just like, they're like random tidbits about her life that she thinks are going to matter. It really is very narcissistic, or at very least, entitled.
It's interesting, when I took the job as clerk and recorder, the staff would come to me and they say, the press is outside. They want to talk to the clerk. And I said, don't we have somebody on staff that can do that kind of thing? And they said, no, they want to talk to the clerk. I had to tape a little piece of paper up on the tripod with bullet points because I wasn't used to being in front of a camera. I don't like being the center of attention. I never have. But this is uprooted my life. And for that, I'm sorry. I really am remorseful that it came out that way. And I ask you for leniency and probation. I check all the boxes on the leniency. Don't have drug problems, don't have alcohol problems.
So you're telling me you're not huffing glue or living in a lead-infested house or drinking gallons of vodka daily. So you were sober-minded and still bought into the election fraud shit?
The defense has, and Ms. Peters in particular, has remained quite defiant, which is her right, but certainly not helpful for her lot today. And in arguing why I should impose a particular sentence, she tells me about her ailments, her loss, her struggles in life. But in reality, for those of you who may have been here earlier this morning and seen some of the folks who've occupied that chair before Ms. Peters, there could be not much in the way of a comparison in terms of the type of sympathy one would extend to Ms. Peters. Those folks didn't have 4 lawyers representing them. They didn't have a team of assistants helping them. They're not getting rides in private jets all over the country. You know, the people who sit in that chair.
I'm surprised she didn't like yell, start, hey, I said that I paid for those rides in the private jet.
You know, the people who sit in that chair suffer, generally speaking, immeasurable trauma in life, struggle mightily with alcohol abuse, substance abuse, mental health struggles, family loss. They come from broken homes. The cards they were dealt were never the cards that you were dealt, Ms. Peters. So when I hear you discuss your husband, who sadly passed away recently, your family struggles, and your son, who served our country admirably and made the ultimate sacrifice, I consider it. And I note, too, that he honored his oath to the country, something that is not lost on me when considering the circumstances under which you find.
I can't believe you actually brought the alcohol thing up. I bet her lawyers are kicking themselves right now. They're like, we should have gone with the Coke defense. Damn it.
Find yourself here. Your age, limited criminal history, and the like are certainly somewhat mitigating. Your ties to the community are what they are, but your reputation at this point is poor because of what you've done here and after. Your lies are well documented, and these convictions are serious. I'm convinced you would do it all over again if you could. You're as defiant as a defendant as this court has ever seen. You don't have those histories of drug and alcohol abuse. There's no lifetime of trauma, not even close to the type of mitigating circumstances I would see from many folks who sit in that chair. No, to the contrary, Ms. Peters, you are a privileged person. And you use that privilege to obtain power, a following, and fame. And to be sure, there's no doubt in my mind that it's exactly what you wanted, and it defies all sense of common sense to believe when you suggested to me a few moments ago that you didn't want this attention. No, you crave it, ma'am. And there is no one in this courtroom who would consider that to be anything other than the absolute truth.
I think that Tina Peters is probably thinking right now, like, I don't think my probation request is looking so good.
But to get to the point of what it is that you did here, it's my impression distinctly that you never took your job of clerking particularly seriously. You didn't complete the certification. One scandal after another followed you in your time as the clerk.
Oh.
And ultimately, it was a belief that the echo chamber in which you live couldn't be wrong, among other things.
Oh my
led-
God. First and foremost, he's destroying her about the entitlement, and I love that. The I can't be wrong is right in line with the not being able to take no for an answer, right? I want this thing. You saying no means I'm in a way wrong, or that I'm wrong to want it, or that I can't have it. And so therefore, they throw a tantrum. And then he throws in just like a random diss that was totally awesome though. Because he's just like, listen, to be quite honest, okay, not only did you fuck up here, but like you kind of always sucked at your job.
There are many things in my mind that are crystal clear about this case. You are no hero, you abused your position, and you're a charlatan who used and is still using your prior position in office to peddle a snake oil that's been proven to be junk time and time again.
Oh my
and your world
God.
is all about you.
Holy shit. He is so calmly and methodically destroying her. Dude, she's not only walking out of here sentenced to 9 years behind bars, she's walking out of here with her ego obliterated.
But at bottom, this case was about your corrupt conduct and how no one is above the law. No one in this country has absolute power. Your position as a clerk and recorder, a constitutional position, does not provide you with a means by which to do your own investigation, to not listen to the judiciary, to not listen to the executives higher than you, to not listen to the legislature who sets the law as it may be. This is nonsense. Our system of government can't function when people in government think that somehow, some way, the power they've been given is absolute in all respects. And that's where you fell.
Oof.
You have no respect for the checks and balances of government. You have no respect for this court. You have no respect for law enforcement. And you do not have respect for your fellow colleagues when you were a clerk and recorder who weren't lockstep in your beliefs. Period. Indeed, just weeks before trial, you were apparently doing what I mentioned earlier, that is, over at the clerk and recorder's office where you're not supposed to be, violating the protection order by speaking to employees of that entity with your camera crew in tow.
What the f? She just can't stop doing the wrong thing. Dude, the judge is like, literally, he's like shaking his head. He looks like a disappointed father.
You have no qualms with violating the court's orders because you're innocent, because you didn't do anything wrong. You were just doing your job. You have no problem trying to kick an officer. Your explanation about what happened is preposterous. It's on video. You have no problem lying to officers. It's happened multiple times. They're recorded conversations. It's just more.
That's so good of the judge to bring that up as well. The fact that she was already violating previous court orders, saying like, hey, you need to stay away from here. And she was just continuing to waltz on over there with her camera crew, demonstrates that she has no intention of following any future court orders.
Or lies. No objective person believes them. No, at the end of the day, you cared about the jets, the podcasts, and the people fawning over you. You abdicated your position as a servant to the Constitution, and you chose you over all else. Yes, you are a charlatan. Oof. And you cannot help but lie, as easy it is for you to breathe. You betrayed your oath for no one other than you.
Oh, man.
And this is what makes Miss Peters such a danger to our community. It's the position she held that has provided her the pulpit from which she can preach these lies. The undermining of our democratic process, the undermining of the belief and confidence in our election systems. It's not about questioning it. No one says you can't question, you can't ask. It's completely different. And if you don't understand that distinction, then there's nothing I can say or do here today that will change your mind. So the damage that is caused and continue to be caused is just as bad, if not worse, than the physical violence that this court sees on an all too regular basis. And it's particularly damaging when those words come from someone who holds a position of influence like you.
Oof.
Every effort to undermine the integrity of our elections and public's trust in our institutions has been made by you. You've done it from that lectern the voting public provided you with. Everything you've done has been done to retain control, influence. The damage is immeasurable.
It's going to be really hard to walk into prison with your head held up high, knowing that this has gone viral.
Mr. Wood, all the members of the county who worked and trusted you when you asked them to do things that they did on your behalf, as part of your lies. The expense, the toll, is immeasurable.
No, what's immeasurable is the amount of suffering she's going to endure without her magnetic mattress. I think you forgot the most crucial part of the defense, Your Honor.
And therefore, the sentence and judgment of the court is as follows. As to counts 1 and 4, the judgment and sentence of the court is 3.5 years in the Department of Corrections. Those sentences will be concurrent to each other. As to count 2, the judgment and sentence of the court is 3.5 years consecutive to counts 1 and 4. As it relates to the misdemeanor charges, count 8 is 120 days in the Mesa County Detention Facility, concurrent to count 9 and 10, which will be 6 months in the Mesa County Detention Facility, consecutive to the prison sentence The reason those sentences are consecutive is because those sentences are, as the prosecution stated, directly related to what it is that you did here in our community, the damage you caused this community, the breach of your oath to the electorate in Mesa County. Your sentence will be followed by 3 years of parole. You have 2 days of pre-sentence confinement credit. Anything I missed? Anything else we need to address?
Judge, I think you missed a sentencing on count 6.
Oh, I'm sorry. Count 6 is criminal impersonation. That's also consecutive. That's 15 months to the Department of Corrections.
And the
So it's 8.5 years total, plus the 6 months for a total of 9 years of incarceration.
And I think the only other thing is the cost of prosecution, Your Honor.
Is there an objection to the cost of prosecution, Mr. Case? We could set it for hearing if you need to.
Well,
If you need to have time to respond to it, I can give you that as well.
Oh man, she is screwed. Oh, what a disaster for her. Unfortunately, the story doesn't even quite end there. Because remember, we're talking about conservatives and election deniers and people that don't share the reality that we all live in, right? Because of this, these cult-like maniacs lashed out at the sentencing. The court officers received threats after the election-denying former county clerk was sentenced to prison. Well, basically, everybody, we learned a really valuable lesson. If you are a county clerk, don't abuse your position of authority, don't commit crimes, and don't follow Donald Trump.